Hello everyone, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, this will be my first ranking video on the channel, as I will be ranking all the Studio Series figures I currently have in my possession. Now some of these I've had since 2019, such as Brawl and Barricade, but this will be my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is on these figures down in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get into, now this will be from least favorite to most favorite figure in the Studio Series line. Taking the last spot on my list is number 41, which is Constructicon Scrap Metal. Now the last spot of my ranking was a difficult choice between this or another character that's going to take the next spot, but Scrap Metal takes the cake for being the last spot due to, well, his inaccuracies. His robot mode is based on concept art that was not seen in the film. While he is in the film, he's only shown in vehicle mode. His robot mode in the film is inaccurate as well, since it's not the concept art, it's a reuse of Scrapper's model. And, well, Scrap Metal is a good figure and is only necessary for Devastator. Otherwise, he's a bit of a miss. To be honest, he doesn't come with any weapons aside from this shield that is part of the Devastator ensemble. And he is quite sturdy and durable for a figure, but he is a bit lackluster, especially in his combined mode. Robot mode and vehicle mode are, well, good, but overall, Scrap Metal feels like a rather lackluster figure in terms of, well, him not being too present in the movie and due to him being a concept character. So, with all that being said, he is a good figure, but he's not really an enjoyable one, and therefore he takes the last spot on this ranking. Taking the 8th spot on my Studio Series ranking is the number 22, which is the Helicopter Mode Dropkick figure. Dropkick was such a badass character within the Bumblebee movie, and they really let him down when it came to his helicopter mode. And to be honest, while he is a good figure, he was gonna take the last spot, but I gave that spot to Scrap Metal, as you've seen. Now, he is rather inaccurate because the weapons are inaccurate and they're only part of the helicopter mode. The only accurate piece would be the car lights on his shins, on his legs, along with the helicopter blades folded up on his back. And the head sculpt is nice and accurate, but the paint job really let this figure down, and the backdrop of the figure comes with wasn't even in the Bumblebee movie. It's more of a concept art scene that isn't really in any of the movies, so to be honest, Dropkick is rather lackluster in terms of what I just mentioned. But what is accurate is the chest, along with what I said, the head and the car lights on his legs. But aside from that, what makes this figure more lackluster is the fact that he has been a shelf warmer since his original release, which is why the car mode version of Dropkick, which is released as number 46 in the line, is way better. So overall, I recommend skipping this figure and getting the car mode version of Dropkick. Taking the 7th spot on my Studio Series ranking video goes to a figure I had since 2019, which is the Deluxe Class Barricade. Now Barricade, while he is a good figure and is essentially the most accurate representation of Barricade in the first 3 movies, as he was only present in the first movie in 2007 and Dark of the Moon in 2011, Barricade kind of takes the... he is a bit lower on the list despite being accurate, and he does beat every previous version of Barricade. He comes with the accurate flail weapon he used to fight Bumblebee with in the 2007 movie. He doesn't come with the blaster he used in Dark of the Moon, which, well, isn't much of a complaint. His vehicle mode is accurate. His transformation kind of sucks when going into vehicle mode. Transformation from vehicle mode to robot mode is rather clean. Now, I did forget to mention the transformations on Scrap Metal and Dropkick. Those two have complex transformations, but those transformations feel rather simplistic. So overall, Barricade, while being a good figure, he is a bit lacking when it comes to waists and feet, because when you try to pose his Barricade on his feet, the back of his legs come untabbed, along with the fact that the ball joints on my copy are rather loose. So, yeah, and this was a figure I got from a friend last year as a Christmas gift. But overall, Barricade is a good figure, and if you have missed out on every Barricade figure before, pick this one up. I highly recommend him if you never had a Barricade in your collection. Taking the 6th spot on my ranking video goes to the RC Chromia and Elite 1 3-pack. Now, I was rather happy to have these figures, but while they are slightly lower on the list, they are in between low and high, as they only take this spot due to not only their accurate robot modes and vehicle modes, but due to the fact that they can combine into a concept art robot that was never present in the Revenge of the Fallen movie, but was planned for inclusion. Now, probably the main reason why some would put them low on the list is due to them having flimsy joints, along with the fact that they have to balance on the wheels, and that's more of a problem with their designs. But overall, this is essentially the best version. These are essentially the best versions of the Autobot sisters from the live-action movies thus far, and I highly recommend getting them if you don't have any version of these rather obscure ROTF characters, as they were given little screen time and were kind of forgettable. But overall, they're good figures, and the fact that they can combine makes up for them. Taking the 5th spot on my Studio Series ranking video goes to the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Soundwave, released as number 51 in the line. Now, I've never had the original Dark of the Moon Deluxe or Human Alliance Soundwave due to those two being cancelled by Hasbro, but this figure completely obliterates those previous Soundwave figures and giving us the best representation of Soundwave thus far. The transformation, while a bit simplistic, is effective, and it works, much like the transformations on the RC sisters, which I forgot to mention, sadly. The details on the speakers and the placement of the wheels on the shoulders is on par and proportionate. And the good thing about this Soundwave is he comes with a little laser beak, which is better than his 2 sonic cannons that he used during the final battle of Dark of the Moon movie. So, overall, this is essentially the best Movieverse Soundwave figure, in the sense that, well, he's better than the currently released number 62 Revenge of the Fallen Soundwave, which is a rather lackluster figure, and a figure I don't intend to get. So, in case you don't want the ROTF Soundwave, stick with the Dark of the Moon Soundwave. Now we're in the top 4, and taking the 4th spot on my Studio Series ranking video goes to another figure I've had since 2019, that being the Voyager Class Brawl, released as number 12 in the Studio Series line. Now, the reason why Brawl outwins a majority of my other figures due to him being a Voyager is the fact that I've never had a proper scaled Brawl figure in my collection, along with the fact that I've never had a good rendition of the character from the first movie. And Brawl was rather prominent when it came to the second half of the live-action Transformers movie from 2007, in the sense that, well, he participated in the final battle until he was taken offline by Bumblebee. His design is striking and appears to be close to his G1 design, but heavily modified to fit the movie aesthetic, in the sense that he comes with two shoulder cannons that fire missiles, a machine gun with 4 barrels, and a sort of bayonet weapon that has a claw, and a removable machine gun, which adds to the overall playability factor of this Brawl figure. Now, I like this Brawl because he can actually hold his weapons along with having them on his arms. So it's not like the original Deluxe and Leader Class Brawl figures that came out during the 2007, 2008 years, and everything seems to be well done. He doesn't have any form of waist or ankle articulation, but all the joints are pretty much good, and he's been in perfect condition ever since I've had him. And I highly recommend picking up this Brawl figure to scale with the rest of your Studio Series characters. Taking the third spot on my Studio Series ranking goes to SS-53 Voyager Class Constructicon Mixmaster, who is one of the crucial components for the Studio Series Devastator, in the sense that he makes up the entire head of the combiner, along with the fact that he is a good standalone in terms of being a Constructicon. He was a more featured Constructicon in the movie, in the sense that he was among the Constructicons who helped revive Megatron, along with participating in the final battle, until he was killed by Mixmaster. Well, not Mixmaster, while being present during the final battle, was ultimately killed by Jetfire, while another Mixmaster was part of Devastator, unless that Mixmaster was a clone, seeing as there were 2 of Mixmaster, Scrapper, and Longhaul. Those were either clones or the real deal. But yeah, the Mixmaster here takes the third spot and outwins a majority of the figures on this list due to, well, I've never had the original 2009 Voyager Mixmaster, and I haven't really heard, but I've noticed that figure isn't really that good, and this one knocks it out of the park. Now, he does have fake wheels when compared to a CGI model, because the CGI model has wheels in his thighs, while the actual wheels are situated on his back. Now, while Mixmaster does have a bit of a backpack, the backpack makes sense because that's where the entirety of Devastator's face is hidden. And what does hold this figure back from being almost perfectly accurate is the inclusion of a Decepticon insignia. Now, in vehicle mode, Mixmaster's Mack, Truck, Cement Mixer alt mode does have Decepticon insignias, while in robot mode, the Decepticon insignia would be on one of his arm shields or one of the shields on his shoulder. And the transformation, while a bit simplistic, it is rather effective, much like how Brawl's transformation is somewhat complex. Now, Brawl's transformation, which I forgot to mention, is rather complex, but it works. So overall, if you're completing the Studio Series Devastator, then Mixmaster is one that you really need to get. Taking the second and runner-up spot for being my favorite Studio Series figure goes to the leader class Scavenger, released as number 55 in the line. Now, Scavenger was a character that really needed an update in the leader class format, in the sense that, well, the 2009 Voyager class Demolisher figure, who is colored like Scavenger, was a good figure for its time, but wasn't in scale with the other characters. But this Scavenger figure does scale well among the other Constructicons, and I do hope we get a white repaint out of Scavenger to create Demolisher, so we can have two characters sharing the same body type in the toy line. Though I highly doubt Hasbro will do it, I hope they do. Now, the Scavenger now, we needed a leader class version of this character due to him being the upper torso of Devastator, along with forming the shoulders. Now, he is quite articulated. As you can see, I have him in this sort of dynamic pose, and he does have a bit of a waist rotation with his wheels, like that. So he is quite poseable. However, if you don't have him on a flat surface, you might have to use his arms to balance him. And I have found a way to balance him on a flat surface without the need of his arms. So overall, this is essentially one of the best leader class figures from the Studio Series line, in my opinion. But he was a tie between him and another character that is going to take the top spot on my list. Of course, taking the #1 spot on my favorite Studio Series figure in terms of ranking goes to number 66, Leader Class Overload. This comes as a surprise. I hope this came as a surprise, because Overload is one of my, if not my favorite Studio Series figure to come out this year, in the sense that he has 4 arms, 2 rather stubby legs, a great range of motion in the head, and ankle articulation. His transformation, now I did forget to mention the transformation on Scavenger. Scavenger and Overload have some of the best transformations I've ever seen and messed around with. Both of them are complex leader class figures in terms of transformation, quality, design. Now, Overload here is more of a concept character that was in the movie. Overload was in the movie, but in his vehicle mode. And while he is the lower torso of Devastator, I'm glad Hasbro finally approached this character that was only in concept art. And as you can see, I have pulled off a bit of a dynamic pose with him, with the 4 arms, the way his head can move. Now, they did of course give him fake wheels to accommodate for him having real wheels. Now, he is based on his biped concept art with the 2 legs instead of the rather crab-like legs. But even if they had approached the 4-legged crab-leg concept art, Overload still would have made top spot on my list if I didn't have any other leader class figure. And Overload was a rather interesting contender, as it was either him or Scavenger who took the runner-up spot on my list. But overall, I think Overload outwins Scavenger as one of the best leader class figures thus far. So there you have it. That about wraps up my Transformers Studio Series ranking video. I want all of you to go down to the comments and let me know what your favorite figure is from not just 2020, but from 2018, 2019, and put them in one video. If you have picked up any Studio Series figures this year, and I was pleasantly surprised with the figures I've got, and I hope to get more in the future, whether they are future releases or releases from previous waves. So I hope you guys enjoyed this end of the year ranking video / beginning of 2021 video. So yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment down what your favorite figure is from the Studio Series line, and subscribe if you haven't for more videos, reviews, and other stuff like that. And I hope to see you all soon.